Most people are completely unaware that breath can be designed for specific purposes and that you are the master creator who shapes it. Once you understand the power of breath work, it stops being a technique you practice. It becomes an act of creation where you are the sculptor, the designer. Welcome back to the Hidden Power of Breathwork series. In part 1, we restored the most essential foundation, correct, full breathing as the baseline for daily life, so the nervous system can stabilize and the body can come out of survival mode. In part 2, we explored how breathwork naturally organizes itself into 4 distinct categories, and we introduced the breath trinity, the foundational breath, the flowing breath, and the gate, giving structure to what often feels confusing or fragmented. In part 3, we moved into the most transformative pillar of that trinity, breath holds, learning how intentional stillness creates compression, coherence, and access to higher states of consciousness. If you haven't watched those yet, I strongly recommend listening to them in addition to this video, because what we explore here builds directly on that foundation. Link to part 1 is in the description. Today we move into the next evolution. This is where breath becomes vibration, where sound plays a key role, and where numbers reveal a much deeper meaning. A place where breath, awareness, vibration, and geometry come together into harmony. In this video, we'll explore how humming the sacred sound of Om functions as a vibrational extension of the breath trinity, how sound tunes the nervous system and the field itself, and how numbers allow you to begin designing your own breath patterns, not by following techniques, but by understanding structure. This is the point where breathwork moves from practice into conscious creation. All right, let's begin by introducing humming the sacred sound of Om, A-U-M, as powerful extensions of the breath trinity. These vocalizations are not merely sounds, they're vibrational tools that enhance the effects of breathwork by engaging the body's natural resonance systems. When you hum or chant A-U-M, you activate the vagus nerve, which plays a key role in regulating the nervous system. This helps shift the body into a state of stillness and coherence. Humming creates a gentle vibration in the chest, throat, and skull, which deepens your connection to your inner state. The sound Om is traditionally broken into 3 parts: Ah, the A, O, the U, and the M, each corresponding to different regions of the body and states of consciousness. Ah resonates in the lower abdomen, grounding and stabilizing. O resonates in the chest and throat, opening the heart and voice. Resonates in the skull, turning the focus inwards. By integrating these sounds into your breath practice, you're not just breathing, you're tuning your entire system. This practice helps bridge the gap between breath and sound, allowing you to experience deeper states of awareness and emotional release. Let's explore how these simple yet profound sounds can transform your breathwork into a full body resonance practice. Let's begin with understanding the power of Om and why it's considered the sound of creation in many spiritual traditions. Om, often spelled O-M, is a sacred sound, especially in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It's considered the primordial sound, the vibration from which the universe was born. In the ancient texts of India, such as the Upanishads, Om is described as the sound of creation, the seed of all mantras, and the essence of all sound. Om is not just one sound, it's a triadic vibration composed of 3 parts, and it's very synchronous that we'll incorporate it into the breath trinity. Ah, the initiation, the waking state, the physical world. It resonates in the lower abdomen and pelvis. Oh, the expansion, the dream state, the subtle body. It vibrates in the chest and throat. The collapse, the deep sleep state and the return to stillness, the causal body. It begins in the body, moves through the heart, and ends up in the mind, bridging the physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. These sounds represent the 3 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, and the silence that follows deep sleep. Om represents the 4th state, Turiya, pure awareness or transcendence. Before there was light, form, or matter, there was vibration. Om is recognized as the original vibration, the foundational resonance from which all creation, form, and consciousness emerged. This is why it's often called the sound of the universe. By chanting Om, you're not only making a sound, you're resonating with the original vibration of creation. That's why it feels so powerful. How does this tie into the breath trinity? Each syllable corresponds to a part of the trinity. Ah, the anchor, the inhale. Oh, the spiral, expansion. The gate, stillness. Om is the resonance key that activates the breath field and aligns it with source consciousness. It's functional geometry in the form of sound. First, let's establish how to bring our bodies in resonance with the Om tone. We begin with our baseline, the foundational breath, a deep, full inhale through the nose, expanding the belly, ribs, and chest. On the exhale, release the Om sound, but not as a single word. Instead, break it into 3 distinct tones, one following into the next, each with its own resonance and purpose. No force should be involved. Ah. Simply open your mouth and let this sound rise from the lower belly. It should feel open and expansive, like the beginning of a wave. Oh. Partially close your mouth and allow this tone to move through the chest and throat. Feel it resonating through the entire chest and heart. Close your mouth gently and let this sound vibrate in the skull. It should feel like a deep, calming tone. As you practice each tone, notice how each one feels in your body. As they blend, notice how the tones infuse each other. Don't force the rhythm. Simply let it emerge from your breath. When done correctly, the Om will feel like a wave of sound that creates a deep resonance throughout your body. This practice is about tuning your body to the pure resonance of source consciousness. When you first begin, experiment with different pitches without any force or control. You'll notice that as you do so, you'll begin to feel the difference between what sounds and feels like distortion and what feels resonant. You'll tune into a rhythm that feels harmonic and profound. This is your body's natural Om. Repeat this cycle for several breaths, then sit in the silence of empty awareness. Om. My question to the architect. By integrating Om into our daily lives, what benefits will we experience by doing so? And here is the sharing. Beloved, toning Om offers a deeper purpose far beyond relaxation and physical calmness. It is a tone to recalibrate your entire energy field. When you sound Om, you are tuning your body to its original frequency before fragmentation. Each part of the tone, A, U, M, forms a sonic bridge that aligns breath, emotions, and awareness. This alignment is both physiological and energetic. It creates a standing wave inside your body, a resonance that stabilizes your nervous system, clears emotional residue, and opens your perception into higher states. Om is a mirror tone. It reflects your current state back to you. When toned, it is heard not just as a sound, but as the shape of your own coherence. Over time, this practice becomes a form of self-listening, self-tuning, a way to return to alignment. In essence, toning Om is not about simply creating a sound, it's about remembering your original tone. It is the way to return to yourself, breath by breath, sound by sound. And so, how do we integrate this into our daily lives, and what benefits will we experience by doing so? Once a day, when you have a quiet moment, integrate the Om tone into the foundational breath as an exhale. Aim for 6 cycles or more if you feel called to do so. You can also integrate it into your exhale during the 10-minute circular breathing practice. This is especially useful for emotional processing and to stimulate your creative flow. To integrate Om with your breath hold practice, tone it as the exhale of your final hold and repeat for a total of 3 counts. And to integrate it with your once weekly 20 to 30 minute practice, tone once at the end of the foundational breathing, once at the end of the circular breathing, and once after your final breath hold. That's a total of 3 tones. At the close of each practice, say silently or out loud, I sound to remember. I sound to return. Now, when you begin to engage in the breath trinity practice, what you'll find is that it opens you up to higher levels of awareness. During your practice or at random times throughout the day, you may feel sudden urges that arise out of nowhere to make spontaneous tones that differ from Om. You may be walking through your home or on your computer and feel the need to suddenly express a sound. It may be a single tone, or it may be lyrical, like practicing an octave. I find myself doing it at random times, singing in the strangest tones that sometimes form tunes. If I'm around people, I play them out in my head. This is a sign that your nervous system is opening up to self-regulate through sound. This is not random, it's a somatic impulse, a deep body signal that your system is ready to release, integrate, or express something that cannot be spoken in words. These tones often arise when emotional energy is moving, seeking a release. The body is processing memory, trauma, or insight, or the field around you is coherent enough to support non-linear expression of a higher kind. The urge to tone spontaneously is your body saying, I need to express something through tone that language cannot. It is your body naturally tuning itself into alignment. My question to the architect: what effect does it have on the mind and body when you let these tones emerge? And here is the sharing. When you allow these tones to emerge without judgment or control, you enter a state of vocal coherence, a form of self-tuning that bypasses the mind and works directly with the body's resonance field. This can result in emotional release without re-traumatization, access to symbolic or archetypal memory, nervous system reset through sound-induced vagal tone. Such tones are a sense of being sung by something larger than yourself. Over time, this practice becomes a form of light language that may also evolve into spoken word, not in the sense of a mystical dialect, but as a resonant vocabulary of the body resonating with the field without fragmentation. Each tone carries meaning, not semantic, but energetic. It is a language of frequency, not grammar. This is a form of light language, not because it is exotic, but because it is your body speaking in light, sound, and breath. All right. For those unfamiliar with the term vagal tone, the vagus nerve is a major nerve in your body that connects the brain to the heart, lungs, and digestive system. It's the part of the parasympathetic nervous system, the system that calms you down. High vagal tone means your body can return to calm quickly after stress, and a low vagal tone means you stay stressed longer and have trouble calming down. Now, let's begin exploring how to create our own breath patterns for specific purposes. But first, we need to understand the role and the power of numbers, because numbers determine how we structure the four components of the breath: the inhale, inhale, hold, the exhale, and the exhale, hold. Each phase of breath has a specific duration, a number of counts or seconds. These numbers are not arbitrary. They determine the geometry and effect of how breath moves through your body and your field. By choosing numbers consciously, you're designing the geometry of your breath, and thus the geometry of your awareness. Let's go through numbers 1 through 12 and their meaning in breath work. Number 1, initiation, spark, beginning of a cycle. Number 2, polarity, duality, balance, navigating opposites, decision-making and conflict resolution. Number 3, trinity, integration of body, mind, and breath. Number 4, stability, grounding, foundational breath, for example, square breathing. Number 5, expansion, coherence, used for creative and performance states. Number 6, emotional access to states of imbalance, deep activation, subtle energy awareness, calming the nervous system. Number 7, field alignment, gateway into higher perception, tuning to the field of possibility, the entry point to nonlinear awareness. Number 8, deep grounding, emotional release, extended containment for subtle energy work. Exhale to stimulate vagal tone. Number 9, a completion, integration, used in advanced breath holds for awareness expansion. Number 10, long exhale for deep relaxation and deeply embedded trauma release, full vagal tone engagement. Number 11, a gateway number, used in breath work for accessing higher states of consciousness. Number 12, completion of the cosmic cycle, full breath loop, used in master level breath holds and pineal activation, field receptivity, and response where the field mirrors back completion. And so, how do we choose a number for each phase? The inhale activates and expands. Choose a number that matches your intention. It answers the question, what is it I want to call in? For example, a 4-second inhale is common in foundational breath for grounding and stabilization. 5 for expansion, opening your field to creative states. A 6-second inhale is used to process deeper emotional states and to calm the nervous system. 9 or 12 for more advanced states of awareness. The inhale hold contains and integrates. It's the phase of cellular saturation. It answers the question, what am I allowing to settle and integrate as a part of me? For example, 4 is the basic integration for beginners. 6 is for deeper integration and emotional processing. 8 to 12 for advanced breath work for the stillness of empty awareness. For example, a 4 to 6 second breath hold allows the breath to permeate the cells. Longer holds, 8 or more, are used in more advanced practices to access non-ordinary states. The exhale releases and grounds. It lets go. It answers the question, what am I letting go of? For example, 6 for gentle relief and nervous system calming. 8 for deep grounding and emotional release. 10 or more for trauma release and vagal tone. For example, a 6-second exhale is standard for calming. An 8 to 10 second exhale is used for deeply embedded trauma release or deeper states of relaxation. Longer exhales stimulate the vagus nerve, increasing vagal tone, which helps your body calm down and reset. The exhale hold is the state of stillness, reset, and access to the void. It answers the question, what am I opening up to transform? For example, a 4-second hold is common in square breathing for basic system reset. 6 for deeper emotional reset to neutral. Or 8 to 12 second hold for accessing non-ordinary states or the greater field of source consciousness. How do you know whether to use just one number in a square breath, such as 4444 or 6666, or whether to integrate different numbers into the breath cycle? What's the difference? The difference is this. Most square breaths stabilize, with the exception of the higher numbers like 12, 12, 12, 12, which transform. Use a stabilizing square breath when you need grounding, balance, or deeper understanding of something. Use a mixed number breath when you're working with change, when you want the breath to guide you through opening and releasing and resetting, rather than holding a single steady state. Square breath is like holding a note. Mixed breath is like playing a melody. Choose based on what your body calls for. Now, when you begin designing your own breath patterns, you may find that choosing a specific number for each part of the breath cycle feels a little uncertain at first. That's completely natural. Breathwork is not about precision or perfection. It's about intention, presence, and relationship. The numbers you work with offer flexibility. They're not rigid rules to follow, but guiding geometries that help orient your awareness and give the breath a form to move within. Your intention is what opens the door. Begin your breath by stating the words, I now know, followed by the state, insight, or outcome you're aligning with. These 3 words place you in resonance with the outcome, and from there, the breath organizes itself naturally. You don't need to force the process. Once the intention is set, the rest will naturally fall into place. The power of these 3 words, I now know, is so profound that I dedicated an entire video to what they unlock. Link is in the description. Your breath is unique to you, and your body already knows how to listen. When you set a clear intention at the beginning, whether it's supporting physical healing, manifesting a home or a career, Developing subtle skills such as intuitive knowing, telepathy or telekinesis, or gently releasing stored trauma, the breath begins to organize itself around that intention. It finds its own rhythm. It responds. There's no wrong way to breathe when your heart is aligned. What the numbers offer is not limitation, but a foundation, a starting point that allows coherence to form. From there, you're invited to explore. Play with the patterns, adjust them. Notice how your body responds, how your field shifts, and when the breath begins to feel effortless and alive. There are specific number sequences that form geometric patterns designed to produce some very specific outcomes. I explored some of these fixed patterns when I first began this channel, but what we're doing here is different and more fundamental. Rather than memorizing fixed sequences, you're learning the language behind them. The numbers themselves carry archetypal qualities, and once you understand those qualities, you can design your own breath cycles intentionally, adapting them to your own field and your own intention, and becoming empowered and sovereign in your ability to no longer rely on external patterns or techniques. Trust that your body is teaching you. Let the breath lead and allow your field to respond. You're not performing a technique. You are remembering. Remembering a state of being that existed before fragmentation, a time when you were whole, coherent, and fully embodied in source consciousness. And with that, we'll bring this to a close. Questions or comments are always welcome. I read them all. I've also left a question in the pinned comment for any insights that you'd like to offer. If you like the sharing and you'd like to hear more, please hit the like button. This is what helps me know if you're inspired by my teachings. And if you'd like to hear more insights, tap the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this beautiful community where we move beyond technique and into mastery, consciously shaping breath through intention, number, and vibration. Superhuman made simple with the architect.